When you want a new iPad that has great performance, doesn't destroy the wallet, and can do everything the latest iPad can do, albeit support the Apple Pencil Pro, then you should look no further than the iPad Pro M1 in 2024. The M1 processor was such a leap in performance that it would still be a great processor if it was released today. And now you can pick up this device for crazy prices. Just looking quickly, I was able to find a renewed iPad Pro 12.9-inch 128GB model for just $719. I also looked at Apple's selection of refurbished devices, and they have the 11-inch 256 model for just $619. Considerable savings and a full warranty when buying from Apple themselves. Going on Facebook Marketplace or even Kijiji will find you even better deals secondhand. So what do you get for that price? Well, the M1 has an 8-core CPU and an 8-core GPU, as well as a 16-core neural engine for all the things behind the scene that Apple does with on-device learning. And I feel like Apple has yet to extract the full power of the iPad within iPadOS. It seems Apple has started to scratch the surface of where they want to go with the iPad with the release of Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, but these apps are still missing a ton of features that Pro users need on the daily. So simply switching from a laptop to an iPad is still a super complicated discussion. Specs on the M1 iPad include 6GB of RAM in the base models, and 8GB in the higher tier models, which is the 1TB version and above. And that feels like more than enough with iPadOS. Short of Apple giving us Mac OS on the iPad, which they will likely never do, I just feel like the performance of the M1 has headroom, and the need for the M2 or even M4 is just super unnecessary. Yes, both of these processors bring big battery improvements, but is that really worth $300 to $400 to $500 extra? And with WWC come and gone, Apple did not give us that big reason why we need the M4. To be completely honest, I started writing this video right after the M4 was released. And after writing the first copy, I thought to myself, well, what if they release something during WWC and they come in with a killer feature and makes all my points I just made moot? So I waited, and well, that never happened. There was nothing that requires the M4, but the good thing is that Apple Intelligence works on all versions of the M processor, which means the M1 will get it. So the biggest update coming to the latest version of iOS is going to be available on all M model iPads, which is fantastic, as I am quite excited. Everything I currently own will be receiving Apple Intelligence, so I will be putting that to the full test when that releases later this year. Another reason to pick up the M1 iPad in 2024 is just the competition. Really, what else kind of device is out there that competes with the iPad and can do what the iPad can do? Yes, there are some Android tablets out there, but the quality and the variety of apps are just unmatched to the iPad. Using a stretched mobile version of an app on a 9-inch device is just not good bang for your dollar when you're paying hundreds, close to $1,000 for this type of device. Whether you go for the 12.9 or the 11-inch display, you will be getting one of the better tablet displays that is available. With a 264 ppi or pixels per inch, includes Pro Motion Display, which is Apple's terms for 120 Hz, and a fully laminated display, which means there is no gap between the glass and the screen. And that all equals to better touch response and allows the Apple Pencil to have pinpoint accuracy. Having this as a secondary device to your laptop is still a great idea, whether it's writing ideas, drawing, reading, watching, or even playing a quick game. This screen looks great. Now, it's not an OLED, and yes, that M4 display is fantastic, but would you rather save a few bucks and still get a great display? I know I would. And until they turn the iPad into a laptop replacement, I really don't feel like you need an OLED. But going with the 12.9 will net you the better of the two displays. So be sure to have a look when you make the decision. I myself decided to go with the 11-inch version just because I knew that I would be taking this on me and I wanted it to be as portable as possible. And whether or not it was in the Magic Keyboard or full handheld mode, I think the 11-inch is the perfect size. Really, the only time I want more screen real estate is when I have multiple things open. But that just calls for plugging your iPad into an external display. And that does come in huge when working on multiple windows. I know that before I picked up my MacBook, I would use the iPad to write these scripts and such because Apple Notes and Notion was really good. But now with my Mac, the iPad doesn't get used for that as much. It's more of my weekend use, or I want to get something done quickly, or I want to sit down and look something up. Moving over to cameras, after Apple's announcement, I noticed that Apple has removed the super wide angle lens from the new iPad Pro, going with just a single camera on the back of the iPad. Well, the M1 iPad has both the wide and ultra wide angle lenses, which helps with fitting in those super wide shots without having to physically back out. I don't normally use the cameras on the iPad, except for the augmented reality things, like when using the IKEA app. I do like to use it and see what something would look like in my house before buying it. And with the iPad's bigger screen, it is easier to use than the iPhone. I actually feel like Apple should just remove the rear cameras from the iPad, as it would allow the device to sit flat on the table for better drawing and writing, and you would not have to worry about the table scratching or scratching the lens on the back of your iPad. Now, another reason you should pick up the M1 iPad is that you can get some of Apple's accessories for a great price. The Magic Keyboard that works with the 3rd gen iPad Pro also works with the new iPad Air, so that's not going anywhere. And also the iPad 2nd gen is a great accessory. The only feature that I do wish it had versus the Apple Pencil Pro is the Find My support. That does come in pretty clutch if you do happen to misplace or drop your pencil during transportation. But I don't really need the pressure sensitivity or the barrel roll. I really just use it for quick notes, marking up PDFs, and when my kids like to draw and color on it. Design on the M1 iPad is top notch. This was Apple's flagship product when it launched. They come with quad speakers, which is still the only on the Pro models, a laminated display, which is just until this year included on the Air. Now, of course, there are going to be some downsides, and you can weigh the costs of these and deem if they are worth it to you to pick up the newer model. First is the front-facing camera. If you use your iPad for any type of video calls, first plug in an external camera. I'm kidding. The camera on the M1 iPad is still in a terrible spot, and they have finally fixed it on the new M4. But like I said, you can plug in an external camera and use that so that it is on the top of your monitor, or you can place it on the top of your iPad. Another downside is the battery. If you are picking one up used, it could come with a slightly degraded battery. Apple has not enabled the battery health feature on the iPads like they have with the iPhones, so there is no way to tell what percentage it is at, but maybe that is a good idea to pick one up refurbished from Apple with a fresh battery. And the last downside is that the M1 iPad Pro does not include ray tracing. Ray tracing was recently included on all M3 processors, which includes the new MacBook Pro and, of course, the new M4 iPad. So if you're gaming a lot or want to play console quality games like the new Resident Evil or the Kojima one that's coming out, any of those are not going to perform as well on this iPad. But I feel like there's a Nintendo Switch for your console-like games. And if you have an iPhone 15 Pro, well, you have the M3 architecture built in, which includes ray tracing. But to me, the iPad is not a gaming device. This is my pickup, do what I need to quickly, get it done. If I need to edit a photo, edit a quick video, this is where I go, as it is the easiest thing to pick up and get something done as fast as possible. But there it is. All the reasons on why I think you should pick up the M1 iPad Pro in 2024 versus the M4. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next upload.